meeting.
May we never forget.
Okay, and citizens remarks, so we have Jeff Wells, who doesn't appear to be here. I believe he was gonna ask about the Cadillac police car. That's what he stopped me on the street and asked about. So I don't know why he's not here, but he did come to me and he came to Phil, I think, and asked about that being back there and what we were gonna do with it, but.
Well, one thing about that, if I may elaborate a little bit on it, that is the only one of these vehicles that was never advertised so that to actually sell it, it would have to be advertised. We advertised all the other ones which put it out there. That one was never advertised, just to bring it to.
Maybe that's why he asked. I don't know, he just said, what are you doing with it? I didn't even know what was wrong with it, he said it's.
The starter's locked up and it's got a coolant leak. And I think it's got a little bit of black mold in the back seat area.
Like I said, he was supposed to be here, so. Okay.
Well, maybe we can take a look at it when we get some time.
Would that have to be advertised and be put up for bid, or anything?
Yeah, it was never on the, never put up for bids.
Okay.
That's what I say, we just don't wanna get in Dutch because of nothing.
Yeah, like I said, I just know that's what he was supposed to come about. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
I make a motion we accept the minutes as read.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Correspondence? I have a letter from John McCuskey, the state auditor. They're having 2 free training seminars for county and municipal boards and authorities. They are going to be held between September 24th and November 6th. They're going to be in Beckley, Martinsburg, Wheeling, South Charleston, and Bridgeport. And that's still far away.
It was far away.
The registration is waived, but pre-registration is required, so if anybody would like to go to one of these seminars, let Phil know and she can set you up. Is there a date? Oh, there's a deadline. The Beckley one is on September 24th, the deadline is September 17th. Martinsburg is October 2nd, the deadline is September 25th. Wheeling is October 16th, the deadline is October 9th. South Charleston is October 29th, the deadline is October 22nd. And Bridgeport is November 6th with the deadline to register October 30th. We went to a couple of them, didn't we, Ben?
Yeah, we went to the one in Martinsburg.
Martinsburg.
Actually, Bridgeport's closer to
Is
that.
it?
I don't know, they're probably about the same. But the Bridgeport one, the dates would work better for me because in November I start having some time off.
Okay, we still got time for that. Okay, and we got a letter from the city of the town of Westernport. Dear Mayor and Commissioner of Piedmont, the town of Westernport is recognized in the Allegheny County Water and Sewer Plan as a regional provider of potable water. We therefore have priority usage and control over the raw water from the Savage River Reservoir. In order to maintain status of a potable water supplier, I regret to inform you that we will not be allowing other water suppliers to tap into the raw water line. If the city of Piedmont wishes to gain access to our potable water system, you do qualify for our industrial user rate at $1.05 a 1,000 gallons with a $25 monthly surcharge fee. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Laura Freeman Legg, Mayor, Town of Westernport. And is this the one that started out at 10 cents per 1,000 gallon
Yes,
and went to 50 cents per 1,000 gallon, and now they're up to $1.05. But the $1.05 is potable, the other were raw. But me and Ben met with Steve Brown and what was Ken's last name?
Mendez.
Mendez. You wanna talk about?
Yeah, we went over the dam site up there. They did not say that they didn't do it, they didn't admit that they did. But they did say that they have some things going on where we could possibly put a draw-off hole in the Potomac halfway between Burrell and where our water line connects, raw water. So we could draw off the Potomac just like we have been, but on the West Virginia side of the river. That's not out of the question. But they also said that they offer 50% funding, and we already have funding from the EDA, a commitment from the EDA anyhow, and which would be much cheaper because we don't have to cross the river. The big thing is that we have to get a permit to draw off the Potomac. And with our permit up on the Savage, meaning that we could pull off 1.6 million gallons a day, that should help us in getting a permit to draw off the Potomac, because it's basically all filling up the Potomac. And I got a meeting with them tomorrow sometime. I have to call Ken Mendez and make sure he's going to be in at the times that I'm free tomorrow, and we'll take it from there. On another note, should I go ahead and do
Oh, we're
my
doing, yeah,
correspondence?
we're doing.
On another note, Mr. Jonathan Fowler from the IJDC sent a note to Verso asking them for some of the emergency funding for the tap over there. Verso came back and offered 50% funding, which is what we needed from somebody else other than the IJDC. But now, not being able to tap onto raw water brings us to another problem. Without having raw water to tap onto, we're pretty much doomed. I'm in the processes of contacting the Maryland State Senate to see what they have to say about this regional water project. Don't know where that's going to go, but we got to keep hammering at this. And I'm not going to give up until we have some sort of a solution. To me, the solution is not to shut our water plant down and buy raw water. It's going to be a little bit of expense probably on the city side, but to claim our independence, we're going to have to do something like that. And I just don't know. I mean, I've been pulling my hair out on this thing since it started, but we did run some pressure data. The big thing with Westernport was that they think that the pressure between Luke Mill and us drawing water off of their raw water is going to slow their feed down to their plant producing clear water. Well, we run the pressure numbers. We're only going to draw like 20 pounds per square inch off of that line, considering the volume we're using. And on the other hand, we could change our water plant operations to a different time of the day than what their draw off is, if we was allowed to do that. But there's a lot of variables going on here. The mill, they're at times when they don't have a fire and they're just filling up their tank, it's basically going to be anywhere from 15 to 25 PSI, which is very minute to what they need to go up there. They have pressure regulators in just as we do. So that's where we've been on this, and hopefully tomorrow the Corps of Engineers will come up with a solution and offer a little bit of help in trying to get permitting to go into the Potomac. If we could do that, it would be a lot cheaper than even crossing the river. So we wouldn't have to cross the river, we'd be independent on the West Virginia side. To me, that's worth a few extra bucks, even if the city has to pay for a payment on this for the next few years. But hopefully we don't have to pay. I mean, we may have to and we may not. But the EDA funding and the IJDC funding, it's pretty much there, and then the Corps of Engineers 50%. I can't see Piedmont having to pay a whole great big bunch. But anyhow, you know, it's never over until it's over. So that's where I'm at.
Well, like I said, I contacted Gary Howe, and he said he had a couple contacts with the Corps of Engineers. So I asked him to get in contact with his people and see about the possibility of putting it in Piedmont. So hopefully he's gonna be working with us with that too. So,
Well, there's everyone aware of what went on yesterday. We just got that letter yesterday. Well, I was aware of it yesterday. Most everyone that's involved in this thing from the political side has been aware. So we'll see what's going on. You did send an email to Jonathan Fowler also, right?
no, John Stump did.
Johnston, okay, so he should maybe give him a call tomorrow. Other
Okay.
than that,
And Greg, is that meeting next Monday, is that gonna be Verso at that meeting? You
Up
know?
with Luke,
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you who's gonna be there. The Mansion's office called me,
Oh, really?
so I think they're gonna wanna have somebody there.
Because like I said, attorney brought to my attention, has anybody asked Verso if we could put a pump at their dam?
Temporarily.
A temporary.
that's too far away to do us any good.
Is it?
Well, I mean, we have to tie into that cruddy line down there.
Well, that line ain't great from down too far, you know, we gotta come down this way, but there's still a lot of pipe that would be put in there for no reason. But if that's what we have to do, yes.
It's just a thought, you know, just temporary, if we keep running into the wall with Westernport, their dam is a lot closer, and we could tie into one of our existing lines there that we're using now, just to keep us going and stay out of Westernport's way for a while.
I agree with that, Ernie, but I think that, you know, that may be a short-term solution, but if we can get water on the West Virginia side, that's my ultimate goal.
Mine too, and like I told Ben, that little building that Rick had us stop
That's
there,
the Bloomington one?
that's their intake. They
Yeah.
got an intake here right down on the other side there, right near the bridge.
Well, that's a good option or a good thing to keep in the back of our mind, but the thing of it is, if we put too much on the table there, that's gonna put us in harm's way of getting something on the West Virginia side. You know, we need to look into both avenues, but, in order to try to keep some in-house representation, I guess you may say, we need to work on the West Virginia side too, as much as that. But yeah, I'm kind of banking on all of our legislators and everyone else. You know, no one wants to see a community without water. And it wasn't our fault that Verso shut down. So it's either one or two things. The National Guard will be hauling us water, or or they'll get us an intake.
Okay, does anybody have any correspondence on that? Officer reports? Well,
I've got a couple things. We're in the process of trying to get an audit done here in town. We have been in contact with the state auditors, and they're trying to get us somebody off of their approved supplier list, auditors list. That's what you have to go with. So that's where we're at. We're waiting on them. But in the meantime, I would like to look into an independent source. Somebody, if it's local or whatever, but somebody to come in and take a look at our finances. I just want to put it on the table and you guys can say yea or nay, whatever you want to do. But that's what I would like to do. I'm new, Carrie's fairly new, we're comfortable with what we've accomplished here in the town. As far as our records, our bookkeeping and all that stuff, I've come a long way, I think. But I would still like to get somebody independent, like a Mike Ryan from Kaiser, CPA, somebody local. Doesn't have to be local, but somebody independent. So we can kind of have an in-house audit so we know exactly where we're at when we do get our audit. From the approved list, then we know where we're at. If we need to change something, I'd like to know up front, instead of waiting. So I just wanted to bring that up for
that's under new
conversation.
business, so if somebody wants to make a motion down there.
We'll move it on down there.
No, that's down, it's under new business,
Yes.
so he's discussed it. When we get down there, somebody can make a motion if they want to do that.
All right.
Wait till we get there.
Okay.
Okay. What you
Rick?
doing now is up to you.
Put it down there. You explained it, we'll just get down there. Rick, you got anything?
I don't, Ernie does, on an ongoing problem we've had for the last 4 years or so. I think we might have finally got to the bottom of it.
On Miller's sewer up here, John was over yesterday, had guys take the jet up while John was there so he could verify our line is clear. We ran the jetted down through. Pete was putting the line down in there, he wasn't even pushing. It just slid right on down. John took pictures, we measured out, showed him that we went right to the elbow to the main. And he told Mr. Miller he has to get his sewer line fixed in a certain amount of days. We also, down at the park, we took care of, we fixed the handicap swing again. I still haven't got the chains unraveled, but it's still usable. Somebody broke some of the clip hasp off again. I put new ones on that. And I removed a gigantic chunk of concrete with bolts sticking up like that, and it surprised me. Right there in that playground.
Would that have been from one of them variety things?
Yeah, it surprises me, the guys never hit it with a mower, or a little kid fell on it. So we removed it and filled the hole in. We also cleaned up around the salt building, all that debris that was on the end where you go up to the railroad track and behind. We got all that out of there, got it cleaned up. Looks good down there. And I'd like to thank Paul for putting the lights in the bathroom. That saves a lot not have to climb that little ladder. We also managed to get our salt building filled, and we've got roughly 80 tons in there right now. We can't get no more in, or I'd send him back for another load. And I had to put a new tire on the blue dump truck today. It blew out on us coming back. Kind of a scary ride. And Alan Marchand, for anybody who wants talk with him tomorrow. He'll be here at 10 a.m. Ben said he'd like to meet with him. Rick, if you want to meet with him or anybody else, he'll be here at 10. That's about the end of mine.
Okay. Susie?
I really don't have anything for my report, but on the agenda, when we have our reports, I think we had it before, we had foreman's report. Can we add that in there on that?
Okay.
Or the police report and have foreman's report,
Okay.
just in case Rick shouldn't be here one day, we don't want to forget about him. That's all.
It used to be on the report, didn't it?
I thought it years ago.
Okay.
She's just pushing for the report.
Oh, yeah.
Ben?
I pretty much said what I had, that's about it.
Okay. And I want to give a big thank you to Paul for Saturday. That turned out real nice.
You did.
It was about, what, 40 people
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around there.
at the prayer day in the park. It turned out real nice.
Well, I had planned on coming, but my work schedule wouldn't allow.
Well, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, it was a nice day,
Yeah, it
nice
was.
people. It was a very nice gathering.
Worst of it was you had to listen to me for,
Yeah, he wasn't preaching.
no, I didn't preach.
Quote unquote.
And, I thought the turnout was wonderful. I thank everybody that helped and donated. And I think it was nice. We got a lot of good compliments, so.
Believe me, I'd have sooner been there than what I had to do.
And we got the Reeves grants done for the pool. I forget what I asked for the pool. And for the park, Paul was asking about getting a stage built, so we did Paul's for the stage. And I was approached by a gentleman last week after the meeting that said if we did get the stage put in, he would use his volunteer time to put electric to it. John Morton that did the work over at the pool. He volunteered his time. He said he would use
Speaking
it,
of pool, when's it need to be closed down?
and we're
Next
done.
week.
Okay.
So anytime we
when
want
it
to quit.
starts.
And yeah, we need to
You told me,
Friday tomorrow.
Friday, yeah, but I have to call Monday when I come back to shut everything
Okay,
off,
yeah,
the
tell them
phone,
to take the
the
dumpster,
dumpster, the phone,
shut the phone off. Yeah.
and electricity.
Yeah, we had Kaiser High School up there. There was about 136 kids from Kaiser High School Friday up at the pool for their attendance party. And they appreciated us holding it till September 6th for them, so that went real well.
I got a question, Paul, on the grant. Does that grant, will it include materials, labor, design, or anything, or do you know?
No, this grant is you can ask for a maximum of $5,000.
Okay,
And you just tell them what you want to use it for.
okay. So we can pursue other routes,
Yeah,
because it's probably gonna cost
yeah.
more than that.
I mean, just,
I've just seen
it's
where
just,
Wind Force
You gotta
has their.
tell
yeah,
them
Wind
what
Force
they
is-
want.
the application for Wind Force is out
Cut half
too.
and use for the front-
I'll print.
front posts.
I'll print that one out too. Wind Force's grants are out now too, and they're due in November, aren't they? I'll print that out and you can do more than one. They just give you money, they just ask you what you want to use it for.
What's the maximum of wind force, how much?
I think it's 5,000 too, isn't
I'm not sure. Never had any luck with that.
it? No. Okay. Okay, under unfinished business, we had to change the date and time of council meetings. With this water situation, I haven't got to go over the ordinances to see if it was actually changed legally to change the dates. So until we find that out, I'd like to put that on the next agenda. Maybe I can take this thing of ordinance down and check them out, but I don't want to change something that was changed legally. So until we find out which days are the right days, we'll stick with these days. Unless you want to change the time of it. The time doesn't matter.
Yeah, the time, I mean, I know Ben's, you're working on Wednesday, but for Dawn and I to attend, we'd have to do it in the morning or early afternoon.
Just keep it like it is for now, until we figure out,
But do it all.
try to find the ordinance, okay? Okay, new business, the first reading of the water rate ordinance. The council of the city of Piedmont hereby ordains the following rules, rates, charges, and hereby fixed, determined, and established for municipal water service provided to all users of the city of Piedmont's municipal water works system commencing upon the effective date as hereinafter provided and in accordance with the following rates and schedules. Rules and regulations. Section 1, applicability. Applicable within the entire territory served by the Piedmont water system. Available for residential, commercial, and industrial sales. The rates being customers with metered water supply, the first 2,000 gallons used per month, $21 per 1,000 gallons. All over 2,000 gallons used per month, $10. Minimum charge. No bill will be rendered for less than the following amounts according to the size of the meter installed, and said minimum charge to also apply to multiple occupancy. A 5/8 inch meter, $42 per month. A 3/4 inch meter, $63 per month. A 1 inch meter, $105 per month. An 1.5 inch meter, $210 per month. A 2 inch meter, $336 per month. A 3 inch meter, $630 per month. A 4 inch meter, $1,050 per month. And a 6 inch meter, $2,100 per month. An 18 inch meter, $3,360 per month. You guys are big meters.
Usually,
None of us. We're at the very big top.
It's a housing code.
No, does it have?
Sorry.
Okay. The security deposit, not to exceed 2/12 of the average annual usage of the applicant's specific customer class, or $50, whichever is greater. This fee may be changed by applicable statutory provisions. On all current usage billings not paid within 20 days, 10% will be added to the net current unpaid amount. This delayed payment penalty is not interest and is to be collected only once for each bill where it is appropriate. There will be a charge of $350 for connection to the water system. Service will not be restored until all amounts in arrears, including penalties and a reconnection charge of $35.50 if outside the regular working hours, are paid in full. In apartment buildings and other multiple occupancy buildings, each family or business unit shall be required to have a separate meter to ensure that each family or business unit is paying the proper amount for the services used. Until separate meters are installed, each family or business unit shall be required to pay not less than the minimum charge per unit, or the entire building will be billed according to the size of the meter installed, whichever is greater. Hotels, motels shall pay according to the actual usage or according to the size of meter installed, whichever is greater. The adjustment policy adopted by the City of Piedmont at a regularly stated meeting of the Mayor and Council held on December 11, 2014. Number 1, excess consumption caused by faucet or toilet leaks, faulty appliances, leaking water hoses, and similar situations will not be considered for adjustments. Generally, the leak must have occurred on the water or sewer service line or internal and concealed structural plumbing. The request for adjustment must be accompanied by detailed photos of the leak, copies of plumber invoices for repairs, or copies of receipts for materials purchased to repair the leak. If at all possible, Public Works employees should witness the leak prior to repair to verify the severity of the situation. All such documentation shall remain the property of the utility. Adjustments will be calculated by determining the average consumption using the last 12 months of water readings. Charges will be at the rate of 75 cents per 1,000 gallons over the average consumption of water and $1 per 1,000 gallons consumption of sewage, which is a Public Service Commission current estimate of typical incremental costs per 1,000 gallons. The city will no longer provide a credit for sewer when filling a pool with the residents. Adjustments will be limited to one time during a 12-month period for each account. The City of Piedmont must be notified by the customer as soon as possible after the discovery of a leak. Written request for an adjustment must be received within 40 days of discovery and repair of a leak, accompanied by all documentation. A request form will be available at the city office. Failure to submit the request within the allotted time period will forfeit the customer's rights to a leak adjustment. The rates, charges, and penalties provided herein shall become effective 45 days after enactment or as soon thereafter, as the same may be provided by the Public Service Commission of West Virginia. The provisions of this ordinance are severable, and if any clause, provision, or section hereof shall be held void or unenforceable by the Public Service Commission of West Virginia or any court of competent jurisdictions, such holding shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Upon the effective date hereof, all ordinances, resolutions, orders, or parts thereof in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance are, to the extent of such conflicts, hereby repealed, and to the extent that the provisions of this ordinance do not touch upon the provisions of prior ordinances, resolutions, orders, or repairs thereof, the same shall remain in full force and effect. Upon introduction hereof, the city shall cause to be published notice of this ordinance in the Mineral Daily News Tribune, a qualified newspaper of general circulation in the city of Piedmont, and said notice shall state that this ordinance has been introduced and that any person interested may appear before the city council on Wednesday, September 25th, 2019 at 6:00 p.m., which date is not less than 5 days after the date of the publication of the ordinance and notice, and present any comment or protest thereto, following which hearing, council shall take such action as it shall deem proper. Copies of this ordinance shall be available to the public for inspection at the office of the city recorder, City of Piedmont, Piedmont, West Virginia. This is considered the first reading. The second reading and the public hearing will be held on September 25th, 2019. No. All right, trunk or treat.
Do you need
No,
Motion.
yeah, I guess. A motion to accept the first reading.
I make a motion to accept the first reading of the water rate ordinance.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Read all it for nothing.
You gotta read it one more time?
On the 25th.
Yeah.
We'll bring my cheaters next time. I had one eye closed on that time. Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat, Dawn and I, who usually do that, we both have to work on Halloween. We were thinking about doing it on October the 26th, which is Saturday, from 6 to 8, if we could use the lot behind the Legion to do that.
You said February?
Did I say February?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, October.
I don't think you want to do it for snow.
October what?
26th is a Saturday.
What day's Halloween fall
Thursday?
What is it, the 30th or the 31st?
on? 31st.
It's on a Thursday.
Thursday. Does the mummers usually do theirs on the Saturday prior or after? It's usually prior.
Prior.
So that would be the same day too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do theirs mid-afternoon, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can lead
Is it
one
1
right,
o'clock or something?
you can lead one right into the other.
I think like if we did 6 to 8, that would give folks time to get their trucks and cars ready.
Yeah.
Well, on the weekend, that's a possibility, I think. Okay. Toward the weekend, so it's hard for me.
Okay, we can get Carrie to put that on the City of
Yeah,
Piedmont
I
page.
enjoy carrying the things out of the kids that day.
I don't know.
The lots over there's the city, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we allow the lot to be used for the, trunk or treats.
I second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Paul, grant writers.
Yeah. Had been talking to a couple different sources, Region 8, Pam Keplinger, and I think the guy's name from the Chamber of Commerce, she directed me to them, Chamber of Commerce, I think it was a Ray Brubaker.
Drew Brubaker.
Drew.
He's
Okay.
the county commissioner.
Ray Drew.
Drew
He's the
Brubaker.
county commissioner.
He was at
Oh, is that right?
he was at the meeting
Yeah.
today we were at.
Okay, well, I talked to him, and it was about this stage, we're trying to get the funding for something back here on Back Street, our Back Street. So we got him,
That's what we all know.
that's what we know
All
about.
right.
So he is checking into that force, and supposed to let me know as soon as he finds something out. Paul has got this other grant source here, you said Reeves.
Mhm.
So we got a couple things going. I just wanted everybody to know where we're at with it. But my thing is with this, you know, I know grants, it's a long process. And this thing could be years and years and years. I don't know that, I'm just saying, I'm just bringing it up. I just want to put it out there. You know, we have people in this town, and even the surrounding towns, that I believe would donate and help us to put something back here. Even, I'm talking to materials, their time, their labor. We already have somebody that will do the electric, and I'm an electrician,
Mr.
I'll
Gordon
help do the
said we
electric.
watched the
Well, that gentleman.
The YouTube
We
video
got
that Mr.
equipment
Powers
here that we
made.
can
We
dig
have
holes.
equipment, we have trained carpenters in this town,
All we need is material.
and yes,
Yes, he said he
so,
would do it if we supplied the materials, he
So
would
we
do all
need
the work
material.
as
I'm
volunteer.
just saying, I'm just bringing it up.
Not
You know,
Bill,
if
he would do
somebody-
electric.
So
We can get it out there, and somebody come forth,
Lumber for that.
Yeah, so.
and, you know, if somebody wants to do something like that, what's to say we can't, name it after somebody? You know, I mean, I think that's a possibility, don't you, Paul?
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility. But getting it done in a year versus waiting 5 years, I hope to be alive in 5 years, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so I would like to see it. And I think the town would like to see it and like to be using something like that. So I just wanted to put it out there, that if there's anybody who would like to donate, if we can do that, you know, we wanna do what's legal. I wanna do what's
Yes.
legal.
I don't know how we. can
Whatever's
do that
legal.
As a town, I don't know if we can or not. Can
Well, I don't know. I'm not talking about the town donating, I'm talking about,
You
No,
know,
I
people.
don't know. Somebody done, I don't know.
you know, but I just want to bring it up and we can check into that and see. But if somebody would like to donate the lumber, somebody would like to donate their labor, if we can get this project done and people could use it and start enjoying it.
Do you
So-
have the stage design, do you know a size?
Well, no, I got it in my head.
Well, we gotta get an.
I got it in my head, and I got Kaiser Stage down there that I've been down there looking at and talking to them about it. I've talked to Tim Hanna down there.
Okay.
And, but no, we need that. But, you know, I don't want a fly-by-night person to come to me, I can design it myself. You know, I'm fly-by-night, I want an expert, we want an expert. We don't want something that looks like we just threw a shack up. We want something that looks nice for the town, that we can all be proud of. That's what I envision sitting back there. I hope we all feel the same way. So we get somebody that's professional, that knows what they're doing, some sort of draftsman. And I approached Region 8 about that. I approached Jim, is it Jim Hanna?
Give him-
Jim Hanna, who's the city manager down there.
Yeah.
Kaiser and Bonnie, I talked to different ones down there. And, so, maybe we could do something based on what they did, but on a little smaller scale for our town. But I
yeah,
just
we
wanna put
got
that in.
nothing that elaborate, just a small stage.
Yeah, just a small stage.
Have you thought about calling over and talking to RK&K, because one of their engineers is on the Kaiser Council?
I don't know him. Who's
But
he?
RK&K is an engineering firm over there. And they
Oh,
might,
okay.
they might,
Perfect on the road.
yeah, they might be willing to maybe bid to the city, and it's a donation.
I
Try
see-
to do
I see.
donations.
Yeah, I will talk to somebody, if it's Carl Bell, if it's,
Well, Carl Bell's got an itch.
Yeah, if it's somebody.
He's got them here in
Tom.
town too.
Tom Pritt and Kaiser,
Is he like a draftsman or
he's a structural engineer and a draftsman.
I imagine-
Tom Pritt?
Pritt, P-R-I-T-T. And he's a
Your
member.
brother-in-law does that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Bill's a carpenter, but,
Bill would be able to do that, I think.
yeah, but like I say, I don't want to speak for Bill, you
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying, Bill, he's a busy man, I know that,
Right.
but he might be able to draw some plans up too, because he's one heck of a good carpenter.
we get the word out there and, but first of all, top priority priority for me is whatever's legal. You know, I want to do things the right way and the legal way, so.
Well, we have to find the place down there where we can look.
We were dinner, he was looking,
Uh,
like right along the fence line,
Yeah, right along the fence line.
out of the,
My mind
don't take
is,
away from the park area.
right along the fence. We got some trees, we got some telephone poles right there. What's wrong with right there? I mean, we can look at it, the right person to look at it and see what's best.
And the
What's
one,
best for
one
us?
pine tree will be gone shortly.
If it's toward the back, so be it. If it's in the middle, that's what I'd say, just leave it
Well,
or we can decide.
the one pine tree is the one on the last post down, and it's sitting right, pretty much right up against the post.
Yeah, I see that.
It needs to come out.
Well, there's nothing in the rule book that I could find saying that donations to the city, if it's used for a purpose,
For the people,
is illegal. Huh?
for the people, it makes it legal.
Right,
That's what the donations for the people.
So
right,
you're saying if it's for the
Yeah,
people?
we heard, yeah.
For the people.
right,
Okay.
It's not a.
It's not for personal gain, it's for the
right,
city
it's-
and the
right.
people of the city.
exactly.
So it's legal.
Well, that's
They told
what this
us
would
that
be for.
today,
This
yeah.
is for the
Yep.
people of this town.
Yep.
Or anybody wants to use it, but it's for our town. So you're saying that's legal, right?
That's
Yeah,
what
they
they
told
told
us
us
that
today.
today.
For, main thing was for the people.
As long as
Not-
it's for the people and the
For
city and
us.
no, not
Or we
personal
would
gain.
gain from it. It's for the people.
Okay. Okay, now we're down to Paul's audit again. I entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that we, entertain the fact that we're gonna bring in a outside person to do a quick audit on all of our finances within the office.
And I second it.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Anybody have anything else?
Yes, I forgot. That buildings meeting is going to be Monday, September 23rd instead of 24th, 6 o'clock.
At the Legion?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything? I probably do, I probably forgot. Okay, I do wanna say that, Robbie was here this weekend and Eric Veach has started, he patrolled the weekend, he'll be back. And, did we get any applications in?
No.
The only other application we received was from Dakota Spear, who was also a certified police officer, and he said he could work part-time.
Is he back from Ireland yet?
I believe he is, I'm not positive. He is certified, so he won't have to go to training school. So,
We already ran the ad and everything.
yeah, the ad's been in the paper, they were supposed to have their applications in by yesterday.
Yeah.
So the next meeting on the agenda to hire them.
Yeah, I'll put it on the meeting for the next, for the part-time officer, to hire a part-time officer.
Is that the only application we got was his?
Yeah.
So it would be new or unfinished?
That would be, I guess what we do.
Okay.
Did you say you did get one from somebody else? There was nobody else? No. Okay. All righty. The next meeting will be September 25th at 6 o'clock here at the council building.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.